Hey everyone, this is Sarah Saxby. Welcome to the Soul Rehab Project. This is the podcast where we talk about lies, the lies we tell ourselves, and the lies that we have been told. So I have a lot of things to talk about today, and I've been focusing a lot on social media, um, and talking about the reasons why people post, and that includes myself. And I am very clear about the fact that I have posted for validation. I have posted to make myself look like I am happier or things are better than they are. I have lied. The things I posted were actual events or things that had happened, but why I was posting it was a lie, right? So I want to talk a little bit more about that. But I do have to say, so it's basically like the reality no one wants to admit because we're so used to just posting and getting likes and making that connection, right? So it's the stuff no one wants to talk about. So there's probably a lot of people that won't listen to this because they don't want to hear it. They still want to push forward into their pretending and in their illusion, and that's fine. And then there are people who want to feel better and aren't sure what the hell's going on. And those are my people. Those are the ones. So if you do want to start feeling better and you do want to start remembering who you are, why you're here, um, and you don't want to be a empty shell of a person anymore, these are the things I'm talking about. It's not easy to hear, freaking sucks. But once you are on the other side and you admit all the fake shit you've been doing in your life, it starts to feel a little hell of a lot better. It does. It's not easy, but here we are. So one thing that I wanted to say is that we have to come to terms with is that when we're born, we sign this invisible agreement to pretend. So I'm going to pretend for you, you're going to pretend for me, and we're not going to talk about the reality of the situation. Right. So, for instance, and this is, there's a couple things that came up to paint the picture of what I'm talking about. Like, I have a girlfriend who was SA'd by her brother when she was younger. Now, everyone knew it. Everyone in her family knew it, including her parents, but no one wanted to talk about it, right? Because it's an invisible contract that the family signed that they would never talk about it. So they pretend. They pretend it didn't happen, right? No one wants to talk about it because you have an agreement. We will never have to deal with this if no one ever brings it up, right? Like, I was fired from my job. Why was I fired? Because I was threatening the illusion. I spoke up about abusive behavior behind the scenes. But when you work there, you sign an invisible agreement to pretend. If everybody keeps pretending, it's like an abusive situation. You're not going to be abused if you speak up. If you start talking about it, if you expose the abuser. But no one wants you to do that, right? If you're getting a salary, you're like, can we just move on because my bills aren't being paid? So before I was fired, I spoke up in a meeting and talked about the bullshit we were being told in one-on-ones. We were being threatened. And so I brought it up. And I actually had a coworker say later, like, well, couldn't you have just spoke to her individually? What the hell would that have done? She would have just retaliated anyway. She would have been pissed that I was bringing it up. Abusers don't like to be exposed, right? So we sign these agreements to support other people's illusion. Because if you're quiet about mine and I'm quiet about yours, then I don't have to face anything. I don't have to face the reality of it. When I was younger, well, when I was younger, I have a sibling that was given everything. He was given all the cars he ever had until my parents died. He lived there for free his entire life. I wasn't given that same treatment. And so one would think, like, after you When you become an adult, you never had to pay for rent or mortgage or a car insurance or anything. Wouldn't you have a lot of money? You would think, right? So I remember I told my dad, he's probably sitting on a gold mine. And my dad said, "Don't say that. Don't say that. I don't want to hear that." Like my dad just wanted to keep the pretending. So we do that a lot in our lives. We just want everyone to keep playing the game. And then when someone finally speaks up, it threatens our illusion. And then we have to do something about it. My dad didn't want to have to do anything about it. He wanted everyone to just keep pretending so he didn't have to face the reality of the situation. So this ties in with posting on social media because people get a lot of energy from doing that. Most of us, I will venture out there and say, most people feel pretty empty. Most people have no idea who they are anymore. It's not always women, but I'm going to say a lot of women have lost their identity, right? So they don't know who they are as a sovereign soul. So they become a role because we've been raised in an environment where you have to produce, right? You have to be worthy by what you do. So we're not really encouraged to be sovereign, to be authentic, to be individual, to remember who we are and who we've always been. So I'll speak for the women that we become a role, right? So we're a wife, we're a mom, we're a worker because we don't know who we truly are. So we become these roles. So what do you have to do when you are trying to prove how good you are at your role? You're going to post on social media about how good you are at your role. And again, I'm speaking from experience. I have done this. So if you want to show people how good you are at your role as a mom, you're going to post how great your kids are, right? How beautiful they are, how smart they are, how talented, how athletic. We're going to post that. And it's not posting it for our kids because most of our kids aren't on Facebook. And if they were, they would be embarrassed as hell that we were posting about them, right? So it has nothing to do with our kids. And it has everything to do with us trying to prove that we are successful in our role because that's how we are validated. So you might say, oh, great, now we can't celebrate the good things our kids are doing. I'm not against celebrating that. I'm against the performance. I'm against pretending. Because why are you doing it? If you have no ability to lie and you're posting about your kids and how great they are, and I'm sure they are, because kids are fucking great these days. They're smart and they are athletic and they're talented. But if you're going to post about it, what does it have to do with your kids? Because like I said, they would be embarrassed to know that you were posting about them. I'm guilty of it. I did it. I posted my children because I wanted to prove how I wanted to show, oh, look at how great they are. Look at how good looking they are. It has nothing to do with them. It's me. I'm saying I produced that. Show me how, validate how great I'm doing as a mom because of how talented they are, because of how pretty they are. Has nothing to do with them. I'm empty. I'm empty. So I'm playing a role and my role needs to be validated. Has nothing to do with them. I need to prove that I'm good at what I'm doing. Like I said in my last podcast, because I'm seeing now, you guys, because a year ago I would have posted all kinds of shit, right? But I'm seeing my actual reason for posting, and I can't take it anymore because I'm lying to you. I'm pretending to be something I'm not because I don't remember who I am. So I'm pretending. But I dropped my kids off at college and I took pictures, but I took pictures for me. And there were people that reached out to me and said, hey, how was the drop off? Do you have pictures? And I sent them. But there's no way in hell that I needed to post it for all the world to see the inner life, like where my children are sleeping. Because what does that have to do with them? It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with me. Look at how pretty I made their room. Look how smart they are because they got to go to this college or they got into this school. It's them. It's me. I want you to think that I'm better than I am because I don't remember who I am. I want you to think that I'm more successful, that I'm more happy. I must have everything I ever wanted because look at my kids' dorm. It's not about the kids. It's about me. Because I'm empty. I have nothing anymore. I don't remember who I am. So I'm a mom. So I'm going to show you how good at it I am. Because we don't know who we are. We forgot. So when you go out at night and you're celebrating someone's birthday, a celebration of sorts, and you take all kinds of pictures the entire time you're there and you post them. Why are you posting the pictures? Why? Why are you showing the world what you did last night? Oh, I'm celebrating my friend. What, I can't celebrate my friend now? I can't post any celebration, fun times? First of all, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. That's not my point. But my point is, are you actually celebrating the moment? Or are you celebrating being seen celebrating the moment? Because if you actually felt how you make your Facebook posts look, would you even need to post? Probably not, because you're posting so you can get a glimpse, a fraction of the feeling. You don't feel the way you do in Facebook posts. You're posting so you can hopefully feel that way. You're trying to feel better. So you're posting because it makes you feel a little bit better at the time. But if you actually felt the way your Facebook posts look, you wouldn't need to post at all. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care. I saw an influencer who is, I don't know anything about this person. The only thing I know is her account came up when I was scrolling. So I don't know anything about her. All I know is what I saw at first glance. And from what I understand, she is some sort of holistic practitioner. Okay. That's what it says. And she posted about the post itself was about the the healing around being around animals, right? Which I totally agree. I totally agree. Like being around animals, they're not judging, right? And it brings you to nature. Maybe for some people, maybe not, whatever, doesn't matter. But I know for myself, I love to sit in the backyard and there's all kinds of stuff back there and it just, feels good. But she was talking about one particular animal and how it's like has some restorative healing, whatever. I'm like, I'm sure it does. I completely agree with what she's saying. But she posted along with it 5 professional photos. It was like a Instagram carousel. And one of the 5 had a picture of this animal, which, by the way, was her and the animal. And she had a beautiful outfit on and she was, looking up at the sun, smiling, you know what I mean? Giving the impression that it was ultimate fulfillment that she was experiencing with this animal. Was she? I don't know. She made it look that way, right? The other 4 pictures were just of her. Very beautiful pictures. Well done. Beautiful outfits, different scenes by trees, whatever. So what did those pictures have to do? If you're a real healer, then your 100% purpose is to help people feel better. But how does it make people feel better to see you in professional photos, in very expensive outfits, in different scenes, selling an illusion? Because I believe in what she's saying, that animals, it's great to be around animals. But what did that have to do with the pictures? You're selling an illusion. She's selling a brand. It has nothing to do with you healing. But in your head, you see this and you say, well, if I can do what she's doing, then I'll feel like that forever. So you try to do that. You try to do the things that she's doing, which for most people, it's impossible because she's got millions of dollars, right? So you try to emulate her. And you try to get that feeling that she's selling. But when you do it, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So you feel less than. And you feel like you're failing. And you're like, why do I still not feel good? Look at how happy she is in those pictures. So if I'm with this animal, why is that happening for me? I mean, being around, it's like goat yoga, right? My daughter's done goat yoga. She thought it was the cutest freaking thing in the world, and how sweet. So go do it. Go do it. Goats are super cute and yoga's amazing. But you still have to deal with the issue when you get home, that whatever you're lying about. It didn't take it away. So who's telling you that? I feel like I'm all over the place, but my point is, we have to be careful about what we're seeing on social media. And we have to be careful with why we're posting. Because if we're truly honest, and I know, like I said in the beginning, we made this invisible agreement, right? Don't talk about what we're really doing. Don't talk about what's really going on behind the scenes, because then it's going to break the illusion for everyone. If we can all just keep posting and not call each other out, then everyone can just keep posting, but you're on a treadmill. You're on a treadmill of hopefully I'll feel better after this next post. Hopefully I'll feel better when people acknowledge how great of a mom I am. You don't have to prove you're a great mom. You already are a great mom. Stop trying to prove it. It's only fake, surface level approval and validation. We have to start realizing how great we are anyway, without anyone telling us we are. We have to remember who we are inside, who we came here to be. We have to fill the empty shell that we've been living in. Empty, living in roles, screaming for validation. Show me that I'm good enough. And then your kids graduate and they go and do their own thing. And you're like, well, now who am I? Well, now I got to be someone else. Now I got to play another role, but don't talk about the real thing. Let's just keep playing roles together so no one ever has to deal with the misery underneath. If we all just keep pretending, we won't have to deal with the misery. But that's not true anymore. That has been true for ever. But it's not true anymore because the misery is bubbling up to the surface. Everyone can feel that. The level of delusion is what varies. Everyone feels their misery coming up. The more you pretend, the more you're pushing it down. You'll still be rewarded within the illusion. Sure. The illusion pays, but it's getting harder and harder. So let me know what you guys feel about that. Because I know if most people that don't want to admit the pretending will never have gotten this far in my video anyway. But if you have gotten this far, that means that you're feeling the misery. You're feeling the treadmill of posting and not really celebrating the moment, but celebrating being seen, celebrating the moment. I've been there, but I won't do it anymore. I won't do it anymore. So reach out to me, Sarah, with an H, at strategiesforhappiness.com. Head over to strategiesforhappiness.com. You can schedule a truth room session with me. It's 90 minutes. And it's where we will get down to the really hard stuff in your life. But it's the only thing that works because everything else is just helping you decorate your cage and decorate your prison. And I won't do that. I refuse to help you just make life more tolerable. You can hire me for a speaking engagement. It's very interesting because depending on who's in the room, I will speak to those people and I will speak what they need to hear. So you can hire me for a speaking engagement. All of the links are found within my bio on all my social media, on TikTok, Instagram, and the Soul Rehab Project on YouTube. Or you can head over to Strategies for Happiness and you can reach out to me on the contact page there too. So here's to remembering who we truly are and facing the darkness and coming out the other side. See you guys soon.